Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, yo. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, yo. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, yo. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup, yo.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
A guest star here in this phenomenal race. Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that Putin's the lead. 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to PSGL. We are here for round number 6 around Imola. We are now officially at the halfway point of the season, and I am your host, J. Cole, back here for this evening. Apologies, I wasn't here last week. I had to bit of an emergency that just came about, so all good now, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this one back underway. Joined once again alongside me is Mr. Randall was taken. Oshin, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing grand. I generally just remembered it's Imola tonight. I am actually not lying. I don't know why I thought it was Monza. I genuinely thought it was Monza.
Oh, at least on the bright side, you managed to get the country right. Just unfortunately the other one for this evening, but that's not anything to bother about anyway. But yeah, if you guys had ended up missing it out last week, just like I did last week, I was told that it was actually a pretty good race last week. I mean, do you want to give us a quick brief as to what had happened towards the end of last week, or just a brief summary of what happened last week at all?
Alpine doesn't take pole, Alpine wins.
All you need to know, really.
The 1 week Alpine doesn't take pole, they win, so I think we know what the strategy with around Maxwell is going to be tonight.
Yeah, no, it certainly has to be. But yeah, so what? Anything else really sort of happened with it in last week? Because I'm looking at the standings, and Kailu's just seemed to be extremely consistent in third place a lot of the time.
Yeah, Coleman, he got caught up in a couple incidents, so he didn't score. Rara's now in second. I think Maxwell DNF'd also. There was someone else who DNF'd, I can't remember. Someone big. I think Azara DNF'd potentially. So someone spun off Spoon Curve and almost took Caillou with him anyway. That was a big moment. Caillou somehow only lost the front wing. Due to penalties, he's now got a podium. But right now, I think that's potentially Maxwell about to start a lap. Yes, it's Maxwell starting a lap instead of traditional. Oh wait, Andrew's not even here, so that's why. So Maxwell's coming up to the Tamburello chicane now. Fast right hand, just followed by left-handers. Very tight circuits. He comes up to the Villeneuve chicane now to complete sector 1. So you're up to this very awkward left-hander hairpin known as Toza. So you run up the hill now, coming up to another awkward left-hander. Very easy to invalidate off here in Piratella. Want to make sure you ride some curve, but don't want to validate it as well. Coming downhill now to probably one of the most satisfying but frustrating corners. Aquamilleroni has frustration for Max Rose. His rear stepped out there. And he come up to this extremely tight Variante Alta, but he takes a... Oh, he invalidated off Variante Alta. Never mind that. Looked to have a good run off it.
Yeah, just took a little bit too much curb, and I think Carl Scarrett as well might have done the exact same thing because he has also invalidated on his time. So,
Yeah,
two people we've seen and two invalidations already.
I'm on board with last week's surprise post sitter, Giovanni, who's coming up now to the last two corners, better known as, is it, oh Jesus, is it Ravages? No, I'm wrong with Ravage.
Vatsa.
Ravatsa, yeah, finishing his lap now, 14 flat, Grillick slightly ahead. Where's Ravatsa? Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's fine, no worries. But yeah, Greglick is the one sitting on pole at the moment, a 13.948 for the Mercedes, so good start for Greglick. Dutch Missile's just starting his lap now as well, so we'll see what he's able to do towards the end of the lap. Rara invalidating on his time, on last week's race winner, as Mali Appease onto pole so far by 7/100ths of a second. I think Rara's actually going for another proper lap, or was just trying to show off on what he can do. And if that was a valid lap, it'd be 1,000th ahead of Mali Appease, interestingly enough. So that's nice to see. So we know he's got the pace in there.
He's back out. He's back out. Lots of invalidations early on, actually, surprisingly. Dutch Missile's coming up to the Variante Alta. And he hits it, oh, goes a bit wide there, almost pulls a Yuki Tsunoda for 2021 there, but keeps the car straight. As he comes now to... Oh, Jesus Christ. You know it's a bad day when you're forgetting the name of the corners.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I say, going through the last two corners, we'll just call them the last two corners. I think that'll probably be the easiest thing to do anyway for us.
I'm Googling it. I've actually... It's not the worst moment. I forgot what Radion was called one time commentating in Spa. Climb up a roof, then this is other corner.
Oh, no, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, just looking at the certain times already, within the first only 6 people that have put a valid time on the board. I mean, True Drivers just put himself up in a P6 because with a 14.8 a second behind of Mali Appease. As I said, at Fraser straight up onto the top of top step with a 13.839. No, it can be quite handy around here. So Fraser's probably going to be one that I'm going to keep our eye out on for this evening. We'll see what he's able to do in that Haas. As I think it was Astros, the new guy into F5, has put it up into P7 with a 14.7 flat. So yeah, Astros again, new one to the league and new one to the tier. So we'll see what he's able to do as Hazara up to P7 now, just pipping up Astros with a 14.491. And Ruddy didn't even manage to catch him, but he's also put himself up into P6 as well. So half of the grid having validated their time. Coolman, I think, might be one of our final ones to come across the line, although it looks like it's going relatively slow anyway, so I think he's just going to come into the pits. But yeah, I mean, 9 drivers out of 19, over half of the guys have not put in a valid lap time.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say one more thing. The last 2 corners are called Ravage.
Oh, I thought they were called Ravazza, so fair enough.
I think Ravazza's in Monza. Ravazza's definitely corner, but they are the Ravazzas. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. Well, here. The Ravazza. Ravazza's definitely in Monza. I'm trying to. I think it's the second chicane's Ravazza. No, Delarage is the second one. Maybe Ravazza's the first chicane?
It might be. I thought that was Tamburello chicane, the first one, but God knows at this point.
The first one is Tamburello. Oh, in Monza?
Oh, in Monza. Sorry, I thought you meant in this one.
No.
In Imola. My apologies. Anyway, enough about trying to play Pictionary with the corner names. I'm sure we'll probably figure them out at some point. Carl Scarrett now actually going to try and go for a valid lap time on the board. He's just making his way up towards the line, so we'll see what the McLaren is able to do. DRS now, of course, wide open for him, making his way down in towards turn number 1, and a lot of cars coming out of the pit lane, so hopefully they don't impede him. No, they certainly don't. Through turns number 2 and 3, technically, and keeps it very nice coming out of the Tamaro chicane. Now coming up towards the end of the first sector, let's see what time Carl Scarrett's going to put on the board. It's a 23.879, not a bad first sector time. From what I saw, that was around where Giovanni was in his first sector, so we'll see if he's able to keep up this pace as he's making his way now around Piratella. And a bit wide coming out of that. It's not an invalidation, interestingly enough. I think just took a bit too much curb on the inside there. Now through Aqua Minerale and up towards Variante Alta. What is it going to be for the second sector time? So 49.675. I think that was slightly faster than what I've seen from Coolman's invalidated lap, but I think Coolman had no ERS left to play with, but we'll see what Carl Scarrett's able to do. Of course, having that little mistake through Piratella, he probably is not going to have the time that he would have wanted, but nonetheless, he's just coming around the final corner, and up towards the line comes Carl Scarrett. It's going to be in the 14s, and it's a 14.766, just behind Astros, the new guy into the league.
Yeah, really surprised Carl Scarrett's lap was validated because he definitely went wide off Variante Alta, as Rara losing the rear going through Toza at a 23.7 through the first sector. He's definitely lost some time climbing up Toza, but he's coming up now to Aqua Minerale. There's an Aston Martin that might get his way. Oh, it just gets out to the way. That could have been an airplane crash there. But now there's a Ferrari. It's very awkward with catching cars in some place here. 48.9 per second, but it invalidates it.
Wow.
Oh, Variante Alta. That corner is so difficult.
Yeah, no, it certainly is a very difficult corner to try and navigate your way through.
I think it's going to be next.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be our next one across the line. I think there's a Ferrari just gearing up to start his lap. That would be Lakitu, yeah. But yeah, Smalley Balls coming across coming around the final corner now to come up towards the line. Of course, taking second place from last week, getting dropped because of penalties. Maybe we're going to try and look to make it up this week. And into P6 goes the Alfa Romeo, or the reserve driver in the Alfa Romeo, is Malia Pease. He makes his way back up towards the top step now from second place on the grid. Now chucking it back up to ahead of Fraser, and we'll see what Fraser's able to do. In fact, I think he's actually going very, very slowly at the moment. I wonder if he had a bit of a mistake in his lap, because he has completely backed off of that one. So we might end up seeing a WR driver make his way into the pits. There's two cars very close to each other, a Red Bull and a Mercedes, but I don't know if they've just come out of the pits or if they're like, I'm not sure what's going on with that, because it was Giovanni and not Riley, it was the other Mercedes, Griglick. So it was very strange what was going on between the pair of them. But Max Rowe up to P3.
Yes, we've seen. I think there's going to be another case of high penalties as Lakitu's invalidate his time. Rara, oh Jesus, Rara trying to get out of the way of the car on his in lap, loses his rear, almost went into the wall coming up to Aqua Minerale. It's very awkward when you're coming up the traffic here because it's such a tight circuit. Bit similar to Zandvoort, which we raced at IRL, but as we learned yesterday, you can easily overtake a Zandvoort. You just need to be on inter tires while everyone else is on sauce.
That is very true. That is very, very true. Cool, man. Up towards the line, though. With a 40.236. Sorry, what were you going to say? Sorry?
There are, speaking of the weather, there are very ominous clouds around the circuit at the moment. Now, could it become rain towards the end of this qualifying? I'm not sure. It's not like Austria anyway, where it's one lap shoot as Damien. How was he kept on lap? He went completely off Variante Alta, lost the car completely. Had to save him from going to the wall, but he's still got a lap. He's still got his lap here, so he's going to complete this anyway. 1-3 yet to put a lap in. Missed last week. One of the championship contenders is David. He's not had the best run recently, but P10 only for Damien. Damien's not had the best runs as of recent. Oh, she's invalidated. Fraser put himself into. Oh, it's P2 already. I forget what I was saying there, but I don't think anyone's on an active lap at the moment. Except True Driver, he's come for the first sector there, slightly up on his time. He'll need some more time to gain though. It's coming up to his teammate here. His teammate gets out of the way. True Driver reserve it again. Smalley Ball, I think, no, with Smalley Ball, like, is there any team he's not raced for yet? Oh, True Driver, how has he saved that?
Just seen that go through Aqua Minerale, but it looks like True Drive's running out of ERS. He's only got 5% left. He's still 2 tenths up on his time though, so I don't know if he's going to finish the lap or if he's just going to pull into the pits. Yeah, if I was him, I would just come into the pits, just, you know, accept the fate. I know you're improving, but at the same time, you want to try and have an even bigger jump of an improvement. So definitely, if I'm True Drive, I'd be boxing this lap. Annoyingly in front of your teammate, and yeah, so even then it didn't really matter anyway. So yeah, True Drive into the pits, Hazara into the pits, Damien just making his way into the pits, and the Dutch Missile looks like he'll be our first one to complete his final flying lap. Early out on an out lap means he's got free track and free reign to do whatever he pleases out on the track. Probably not crash it would be the best start of it, but yeah, we'll see what Dutch Missile's able to do. Sitting down in P12 at the moment.
I mean, we do know he has qualifying pace in the inadvertently one-shot qualified in Austria. He was the man to get the lap. He's not had the best season as his moment, but he has shown glimmers. I'm actually not sure if he's scoring yet. I'm actually going to check that was on his out laps and stuff is going to be going on. But yeah, Dutch Missile is one of 2 drivers that have got a pole not in an Alpine. Him and Giovanni are the only 2 to not get pole in an Alpine, so he's got that distinction to his name anyway. But I wonder if he's been celebrated a lot recently with Max winning. Dutch Missile yet to score this season, so still he's looking for that first points finish. He's got the pole. He's pulled a Force India, getting his first pole before his first point. For that fun fact, if you didn't know, but he's going to get a load of traffic on his lap as everyone's coming out of the pits now. As he's burning all his fuel here. Very interesting outlap strategy. Like, he's locking up his tires, picking up a load of marbles, which have been a debate recently about their place in the game at the moment. Lots of drivers not happy with the marbles in the game, but here we go with Dutch Missile on his final lap here. It's going to be very tricky. He's going to have to navigate through a load of traffic here. So I don't think he's put himself in the best position for this lap, definitely. So you have to take into the grass off the exit of the Tamburello chicane. Come up to Villeneuve now. He's going to catch even more traffic here. It's just going to be very awkward there. Alfa Romeo, he's backed out. He's backed out. He invalidated off Villeneuve, so he had no choice but to back out. Hazara's got a 5-place grid penalty. We may be getting a restart here potentially then.
Yeah, I would assume that would be a restart for sure. So, yeah, very unfortunate for Dutch Missile. Of course, he's just going to back off, maybe burn a bit more of that fuel and then go again. But Lakitu is going to be our next one to complete a final flying lap. Never mind, he's not. As I say that, he's invalidated.
Raraz now, he might have a clean run on him. He's going to need the rest of the pack to pick up, but last week's race winner, 1 or 2 yet to put a lap in. Him and IJ's, he's definitely, Rara definitely wants to put himself up. He won from 6 last week, the qualifying king in F5 this season. He's going to want to put a lap in here, just a val lap here. But it's going to be very tight with whether or not he catches traffic at the end of his lap as everyone's queuing up now from Variante Alta down to the Ravaz as Max Power joins probably just in time to get in. He won't be able to put a lap in, but there's going to be very nip and tuck around whether or not he can put it in. 49 flat for this X sector. Was a bit deep for Variante Alta, but keeps it just millimeters off Invalide there, I believe. And now he just needs his rest of his team. Oh, jeez, almost at the back of the Haas there. He's got the Ravazes to go. He'll get a bit of a tow there. Unlucky with the traffic. Don't think there was much that could be done there with the Haas driver. Rara to the line will set a 13.8 just behind his teammate, 100th off the front row.
Very, very close. And as you say, almost hitting the back of the Haas. I think that was actually Fraser as well. So, yeah, very, very close with what's going on there. But, yeah, Malia P's now around the final corner and up towards the line. A 10th.5 up on his time. This is looking like it'll be a 13.531 for Malia P's. And now the checkered flag has come out. So, it's now up to everybody to now complete their final lap. Giovanno up to P2 with a 13.587. Everybody else coming across the line. Max Rose, you say, invalidating on his time. So, P4 is the best that he's going to do. Dutch Missile up to P7 as well. A lot of other guys making their way across the line. Griglick, I think, also coming across the line. 9 thousandths, 2.5 tenths up on his time, but again, didn't end up making a proper improvement. Ruddy, though, jumping up ahead of his teammate.
Caillou's 3 tenths up for the first 2 sectors. It's going to be a clean lap here as long as it doesn't run right off the final Ravaz. Caillou, 3 tenths could put him third right now. The championship leader to the line will go third. 13.7. Fraser, though, he's a 10th up. He's looking to take that P3 back again, but clips the curb on the first Ravaz, so that might cost him a bit. He's going to come to the line now. Where is Fraser going to be on this grid? He's going to be up to P3, and I think that is that, unless Oshin has something. Oshin's backed off it, so that is that for qualifying. Mali Appies, for the first time this season, will take pole position. The second AlphaTauri pole of the season. Giovanno, last week's pole sitter, only goes down 1 position from last week up to P2. Fraser, with his best qualifying of the season, I believe, with P3. The championship leader, Caillou, oh, we're definitely getting a restart now. Caillou is P4, and he's going to have his championship rival directly behind him with Rara in P6, all Alpine 3rd row, then all Mercedes 4th row, actually. But yeah, we're definitely getting a restart here with 2 illegal blocking penalties.
Yeah, no, it certainly should be. But yeah, very good for Malia P's as well. Up onto the top onto pole position, shall I say. Giovanno in second. Fraser in third with Caillou in fourth. Maxo in fifth with an all NLR 6th and 7th. I was going to say 3rd row, but that's actually 6th is the back end of the 3rd row. Roddy in 7th with Gridlick in 8th. Damien in 9th, and the Dutch Missile rounding out the top 10. Smalley Balls in 11th with Oshin in 12th. Hazara in 13th, Carl Scarrett in 14th, Coolman 15th, Ash Jones the newbie making his debut in P16. I think also a potential fellow Irishman of yours as well. True Drivers in 17th, yes. Jay's in 18th, Lakita in 19th, and Max Power just joined at the end of the session. Didn't manage to get a lap in the board, but yeah, he's managed to join, so we've got a full grid for the actual race going on. So yeah, we should be getting a restart underway very, very shortly. And whilst we do that, we'll just we'll go to the intermission screen and go through the GT Omega advert. So we'll be back as soon as that has been done.
Yeah, that's already.
Cool, right, we are back. So we are just waiting to get the restart done and away. I think everybody, what they're going to do is just retire from the session rather than having to keep on leaving, although it looks like actually everybody is leaving. So, yeah, that's a bit annoying. So, yeah. I mean, of that qualifying session, I think, you know, the biggest standout for me on that, Mali, he's on the top. And both of the Alpines in 5th and 6th. Is this going to indicate another Alpine win tonight?
I mean, Rara qualified 6th again, and that's where he won from last week. So if he wins again, I'm guessing 6 is his lucky number, which would indicate he is a Latifi fan.
Yeah, no, it certainly would be. I'd indicate something very similar to that as well. We are just waiting for everyone to actually retire from the session. For some reason they aren't. We're waiting for, I think it's Damien, Hazara and Oshin. As soon as they have them, we'll be able to get some stuff going on. But yeah, I might have just seen Oshin just absolutely plow to the back of Hazara, which is quite interesting. But yeah, I think.
mean, there's no penalties for this, so I get it.
Yeah, why not get rid of those penalties whilst you can, I suppose. But yeah, I think this is going to shape up to be quite an interesting race. Giovanni and Maliapis at the top, going in towards turn one, and turn one is not easy to keep side by side with either. It's the actual chicane itself so tight. We've seen it in real life as well in actual F1 with the likes of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. You know, it's so difficult to keep two cars side by side through that first chicane. Or like about 90% of the time, there's always there's a death that goes on through turn one, and or if not turn one, then at turn two, from whoever is on the outside of turn one to come the inside of turn two, because that curve on the inside there, it just chucks you out. It chucks you basically, it just chucks you wide, and then end up understeering into the person next to you, and because of contact medal in this game, probably end up chucking you all the way around. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. Not only that, I was actually told that, or I'm looking in the Discord chat as well, that there may have been rain in the race.
Oh, lads! If there's rain, keep it. If there's rain, keep it, lads. Actually, rain. We haven't actually had rain in a race yet. I think we had rain in Austria qualifying, but I don't think we had a wet race yet.
I think you're right. I don't think we have had rain in a race as of yet. So yeah, if there is going to be rain, wow, I think that's going to be an interesting one to say the least. As I say, just waiting for an invite to come through from Max. I think actually he has just sent me one. So yeah,
you forgot about you. I've been in here for about 3 minutes, man. The race already started. Everyone's been spun except Smiley Balls.
My man, straight up on top, love it. But yeah, as I say, I think other disappointing qualifiers. I mean, I think the obvious one probably Damien, down in P10. So I think, and same with Smalley Balls as well. I think purely because of the fact he got second before that penalty last week. I think, you know, they're the two for me that have been a bit of a disappointing qualifying. But I mean, I think Damien, I would argue that he is much better in the race in comparison to qualifying. So again, maybe in this race he may actually do quite well. An all Ferrari back row as well, Lakitu and Max Power. Of course, Max Power, I think, filling in. Max Power is actually in the full time in the Ferrari now, isn't he? So yeah, both Lakitu and Max Power at the very back. Not necessarily the nicest thing to see. Max Power isn't full time in the Ferrari. That would be Frank East. So, yeah, Max Power filling in for Frank East this evening. But yeah, not very good. Not very good evening for the Ferraris, or the start of the evening for the Ferrari, shall I say? Just trying to think, what else are we gonna? I mean, I'll run through quickly the championship standings just whilst we are waiting to get this one going, just in case anybody did miss it at the start of the stream. Kailu is the one that is out on top with it at the moment with 50 points to his name. Literally, without a race win, he's finished third, fourth, ninth, third. So he is very consistent, other than what happened at Qatar. But again, I think that may have been he was struggling a lot around that track. New circuits, so it's kind of understandable. And then in second is Rara after picking up his first race win. Actually DNFing at the first race in Brazil as well. But then, 43 points to his name. So he's only 7 points behind Kailu. Again, probably could try and make that up a bit more tonight. Starting in sixth, and especially around Imola, can be quite difficult. But I mean, if he did it at Japan, there is a chance he could do it here at Imola. Coolman in third with 37 points, not actually picking up a point last week. So he still remains in P3, or dropped down to P3, shall I say. Hazara in fourth with 36 points, so only one behind Coolman. Gian and Damien also in fifth and sixth, and Aston Martin's with 32 points in their name, so the Aston Martin's very equal. Although, with Gian not being here this evening, I'm missing a fourth race in a row, with Gian to still be in P5 with 32 points. You got to think, if he was actually here, he'd probably be absolutely storming this championship lead by now.
Yeah, and the reason we're still on a delay is because a couple lads are having issues getting into the lobby at the moment, so we may have to do another restart. Hopefully not. But Maliapis and Giovanni, the front row actually, can't get in.
Yeah.
Could this be strategy by Alpine, potentially? Hope not. Oh, okay, Maliapis has gotten in now, and Giovanni's also in. So, I still think we're waiting on people because there's only 20 people in the lobby, and that's including us, I believe.
Does that include? No, that doesn't include us. So no, that is actually the full grid is in the lobby now. So they're just going to do the actual grid slots and then hopefully get this one underway. If there is rain, as I say, hope and as me and Oshin have both said, please keep it because it would be interesting for strategy wise and very good entertainment for the both of us as well as the people that are watching. Probably not so much for the drivers, but again, I suppose that makes it all the well better. Unless you like rain, then you'll probably enjoy that as well. But yeah, I mean, I genuinely don't know how this race is going to go down this evening. I don't know if Maliapis or Giovanni are going to be able to hold on. I mean, yeah, like I say, if it was anything that was like last week, Rara to be the winner again this evening, or maybe even Max Rowe this time around.
It's going to be interesting. Like, Rara, Caillou's probably thinking championship at this stage. So will he be aggressive, trying to look for the win with two guys in front of him who, you know, good drivers, but they're not in the championship with Maliapis and Giovanni unless they have some run and a half. But I think he's going to have his eyes back towards Rara, realistically.
Yeah, well, again, I think that's one we'll have to see if that is going to be the case as well. So, yeah, Kailua, I think, as you say, is probably going to just be thinking about the championship. But at the same time, as you say, he wants to try and hold back Rara, especially with only being 7 points behind him. You know, that's quite easily doable to be caught up to. But we are going to be getting the session underway. We've just, the guys are readying up, so we should be able to get in the grid slot straight away. I don't want to actually say anything else just in case people are watching the stream and give a bit of an advantage. But do you reckon anyone's going to forget their setups?
Oh yeah, we need to make that since it's become a tradition. How many people are forgetting their setups? I'm going for free.
I think only one. I think I've got faith in a lot of them picking their setups. But I think there might be just one of them that may think, you know, still got my setup on. You know, just wants to get readied up ASAP and get this going, especially after the restart. So I think only one person will do it. Who will that person be? I have absolutely no idea. I think there will definitely be. I think there will be one person that will end up doing it, and I'm sure we'll probably end up seeing it in the chat straight afterwards. Or if they end up retiring early, then we'll probably see that in the chat there and then. So, yeah, 32 laps of racing around Imola. The skies are very, very grey. So.
They're not as great as they were before.
Yeah,
there's
they
not any blue I could see in the previous grid, so I'll leave it at that.
I think that might end up shaping up to be some rain in the middle, or even towards the end of the race. I don't know. Some people were saying that there was rain. Some people were saying that there weren't any rain, which is again very strange.
If people are saying there's rain and people going there wasn't rain, there was rain. There's people who like rain and there's people who don't like rain. You learn it quickly when there's a restart and there's a debate about whether or not there was rain.
Certainly would. So,
and 9 times out of 10, when there is a debate about whether or not there was rain, there was rain.
There was rain. Yeah. No, I get that. So, yeah, I think. We're just waiting for everyone to get their strategies all done so we can get this straight underway. Any early prediction who you think may end up taking it?
I think it's going to be... I'm going to say Max Rowe tonight, even though he is an aggressive driver, and this is a track where being aggressive will bite you. But I think he'll do it tonight. But we got the 5 lights.
And away that the drivers are going. So let's have a look and see who got a better start. It looks like Maliapis is the one that has had the better start of the two of them. Fraser trying to see if he can follow on Kaila. They're trying to see if he can go around the outside in towards turn number 2. As that is actually Fraser trying to dive it down the inside. I told you there would be a spinner, and that spinner is Max Rowe. Max Rowe down at the very back end of the field. Damien and Smalley Balls as well. I think we're side by side of each other. Hazara and Smalley Balls both side by side. Dutch Missile and Damien as well side by side of each other. And in fact, that's a spinner. That is Astros on his Damien. debut, unfortunately, and found out that he is actually Irish very recently as well. So not a good start for the Irishman on his debut as well. But the other Irishman of Oshin into P12, Smalley Ball's trying to fight back Hazara for that position in P11. I don't think able to get that move done. I need to actually check the tyres on what these guys are all on very quickly. It looks like it's all mediums and hards. Yeah, it's not really a surprise, but a few different ones. Malia P's, our pulsar, are actually starting on a set of the medium tyres, and then the two behind them on the set of the hards. Rara has actually left the session, so has had a disconnection. Has he has something happened
Probably.
to him?
He's probably he's had disconnection. His car's ghosted.
Well.
This is big for the championship. I mean, it's gone awfully wrong for Alpine. I've cursed him completely. Smalley Ball's coming into the pits with damage. But Alpine, who are looking to lay claim to the Constructors' Championship and the Drivers' Championship also, are seeing it all go away right now. Max will spoil the start, and Rara's got a connection issue, and his car is just crawling around the place. He needs to get back ASAP, otherwise this is massive for Caillou's championship. Damien's moved up a couple of places, but Caillou is seeing Rara just drop down the field and see his championship chances just raise astronomically as he's chilling in fourth. Within that DRS of Fraser, Roddy and Gridlick, the Mercedes, are looking at him very feisty. Roddy has had a good run of form recently. He got that podium in Japan, was unlucky not to get one in Austria due to a setup failure. Oh, he runs really wide there, and Gridlick pulls out of that. He doesn't want to go find his teammate. He doesn't want Toto Wolff to be banking any desk tonight. Rara's back, but he's all the way back in 16th. He's got a job and a half to do right now. Winning from 6th was difficult enough. He has to try it from 10 places back now, win from 16th.
Not only that, his teammate's now just overtaken him, and the one that had the spin at the start, and Astros as well. I don't know if Astros picked up any wing damage, but Rara now back in his car, so we'll see what Rara is able to do as Lakitu just changing position from his reserve teammate of Max Power, and Max Power in fact actually backing off and letting Jays through as well. So I wonder if Max Power may have picked up some sort of damage or is just sort of cruising around.
Here's the thing we haven't noticed. Look who's last. Cool, man.
Ooh.
Second and third in the championship, having issues at the start. Caillou's in fourth. Caillou is looking to run away with this championship right now. If he can just maintain his position, he'll look to have potentially a win in an advantage come the end of this race. And we're coming towards the end right now. Max Power the first to get a time penalty, but I think there's going to be similar to Austria, where we see a lot of people getting penalized for track limits here. But we'll have DRS now. Maliafis has a 2-second lead. He's using those mediums to effect. Caillou's looking to use his mediums right now. He's got Fraser and Giovanni ahead of him. He's looking to move ahead of them quickly. Of course, he has to be cautious now. He knows how good of an opportunity he's been given right now for the championship. And he can't be caught up in a silly mistake. But he's having a half look. He's filling that Haas mirror with McLaren. He's letting Fraser know, I'm here. I want my traditional spawn P3. Dutch Missile adds himself to the penalty club right now. He's actually dropping down a lot. He must have made a mistake as Oshin's looking to get up to P9. Dutch Missile must have gone off at variant to lose that much time. But yeah, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a race of attrition right now. Very easy to go wide here, and it's built a load of gravel around here that will punish you. But Caillou, he wants to go back to his traditional position of P3. He's pushing the Haas. The Haas might be getting nosebleeds. Fraser, he has had one good run of a race in Bahrain, but that was undue late on, and he ends up dropping out the points, and he's not really picked up from them. He's had some issues with his teammate also in qualifying a couple times, but today looks to be he wants to make amends for today. We're going now to lap 5 as Haliafi is pulling about 3/10 a lap, but right now Caillou, he's won the podium. He's moving up to the podium. Fraser can't do much about it. Look, Caillou thinking moving ahead of Giovanni. Potentially he's going to pull out. He's going to try it into the first turn, but backs out. But thinks smarter of it. And he's got that P3, and you can only assume he'll be up to P2 this time next lap.
Yeah, you've got to assume that he's definitely going to be that as well, and then take advantage of those medium compounded tyre. But with him being sort of stuck behind two of the hard runners, and also just seeing from Fraser's ERS point of view, he was very low on ERS, just on lap 4. So yeah, I think that made it just a bit easier for Kailu just to make sure that he can get that move done. But now, on the back of Giovanni, and like you say, you've got to assume that he's going to get the move done on the next lap, or what kind of DRS zone anyway, as Hazara and Damien, I think, very close with each other coming up towards the Aquaminarale. In fact, Hazara practically pushing him through, is pushing him through. Damien goes defensive on the inside of that chicane, and Damien's lagged out. As I say that, he has just left the session, so very unfortunate. Rara picks up a 3-second time penalty as well, down in P16. But yeah, Damien now lagging out of the session. And what position was that in the championship? If I'm not mistaken, that was tied P5 with Gian. So again, that's another championship contender. All the while, Kailu now going for second position and going to extend his championship lead by, well, by a margin.
He's going to be 12 points he's gaining at the moment. He has a 7-point lead at the moment. 16 for a win, so he'll have a win plus 3 points as things stand. But we still got 26 laps in this race. But everything that can go right is going right for Kailu. All he needs is to get that P1 position. The position he has yet to get. He hasn't even got P2 yet. He's just been getting P3s, and in all but 2 races this season. He's scored in every race this season. Probably the only driver to have that stat to his name. And he's only had 1 race outside the top 4 this season. His consistency has been showing consistently. That's a great line, and it's paying dividends, especially on a day like today, where it's for everyone else, every other top driver, it's just gone wrong. And it's realistically to no fault of their own. Maxwell spun out, turned around, Kuma, we don't know what's happened to him. Rahar and Damien's having internet issues, and Kailu's just having a day to remember.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I'm seeing some very interesting moves going down. True Drive going up the inside just before Aquaminarale on Lakitu. Is I think actually at the exit of Piratella. So yeah, True Drive going for some very daring moves, and now it's about 2 seconds behind Jays in P10. And in fact, actually, I think he's about to go for a move on the Dutch Missile. Dutch Missile really is struggling. I wonder if he's actually got some sort of damage on his car, because he has been struggling ever since the start of this race, and probably could have been a sort of a slight cause of what happened at the very start of the race. But yeah, Oshin now 1.2 seconds up ahead of Jays, and yeah, Jays manages to get the move done on Dutch Missile, so we'll see if he's able to keep up on this lap. If not, then I think that'll definitely be a tell that Dutch Missile has got some form of damage. There's a massive bit of oversteer from him coming out of the exit of Tozer as well, so yeah, but Jace manages to get himself into P9. Dutch Missile down to P10. True Drive, as he actually picks up a 3-second time penalty for running a bit wide out of there as well.
That's the second one, so he's on 6 at the moment. Of course, you're going to be expecting a decent haul of penalties coming tonight, but Kailu's not been getting on many appies. It's been 2.3 since he got the overtake done, and Giovanni's been at the same point as, I think that's Astro, who's had a spin and he's lost his wing of Aquaminarale. It doesn't look like we'll have any intervention right now, but it's been a debut to forget for Astro, as he has to cut the Variantelli. He's careful to get his way to get back on, so he doesn't get a penalty for that. Easy to get an instant penalty. There's no way he's doing that corner with no front wing. But lap 8 now, and I think Giovanni's just let himself stay behind Kailu, waiting for the crossover point between hards and mediums, and then he's just going to shoot his attack. Last week's pole sitter, it didn't work out for him then, but he's looking this week to get his result from P2.
Certainly can be, and I think the crossover period, if I'm not mistaken, may be around lap 10 between the mediums and the hards. So within the next 2 laps, we should start to see the hard tyres become that much better than those guys that are on a set of mediums, i.e. Maliapes, Kailu as well as Roddy, practically pushing Fraser through. And in fact, having that oversteer moment meant that Griglick then goes in front of his teammates. So yeah, very unfortunate for Ruddy, but now has to sit behind us. There's been a spinner out of Aquaminarale, and yet Dutch Missile has now gone around. So it's gone from bad to worse for the Dutchman this evening, and that is I think Maxwell just going straight through him as well at the exit of Aquaminarale. As Carl Scarrett getting overtaking the
I think Carl Scarrett got both Ferraris there potentially. He's so good there as IJ's. I think he's looking to get up to PA right now. If I can get a better angle, as IJ's moves up to PA, gets ahead of Oshi. Oshi's gonna fight his back potentially. No, can't do anything. As Grillick's got ahead of Fraser, forget that move in the top. Grillick ahead of Fraser right now. He's looking to. He needs to gain back on Giovanni to challenge for this podium. Again, Caillou's just not gaining on Maliapis. Maliapis is just mashing Caillou. Caillou gained a couple tenths at the last lap, and Maliapis decided to get those 2 tenths back. I think Maliapis is having a lot of management here. He's just figured out the pace. He almost loses off Ackerman already, but I think Maliapis having a very smart strategic drive here. He's maintained that 2.3 anytime. He's losing the rear there a lot. He might be having some tire struggles as he's actually using some ERS. Interesting, he's using ERS at this stage. He's not at any threat at all. He's got over 2 seconds of lead, but he's using some ERS. Very interesting. He's dropped down to 20% ERS, but we're going on to another lap as Giovanni's just saved his ERS. He's up to 63%. He played a long game. He's waiting for that crossover point, but someone who's not waiting, I think, is Roddy. He wants to get up to P5, lost it due to an error, and now it's not his teammate ahead of him, so no team orders. He's looking at Fraser.
Yes, we'll see if Fraser's able to stick with the DRS of Griglick. As I say that, he's dropped out. He's literally on borderline of being a second behind Griglick. So, yeah, I think Fraser needs to try and do a little bit more if he wants that opportunity of keeping within the DRS and not letting Ruddy buy it. As Dutch Missile down in P16 gets the move done on Maxro. So now up, as I say, into P16. Maxro, very unfortunate with that spin at the start, is now down to P17. Rara, by the way, has moved himself up into P13, interestingly enough. So he's back in the session. He's not having a bad race despite obviously what had happened. So yeah, up to P13. Has got a penalty though to his name, so that's going to put him at a disadvantage anyway. So we'll see if he's able to maybe make up a few more positions up on towards the end of this race. But yeah, Griglick has gotten away from Fraser. Fraser now 1.2 seconds behind the Mercedes, so it's now going to allow Ruddy to see if he can go for a move going down in towards turn number 2. As turn 1 is just that slight little kink of where those guys do end up starting. I don't know why they count that as a turn, but they do. So we'll see if Ruddy is down in towards turn 2, if he's able to get a move done on Fraser. I think he might be a bit too far back, although he's using his ERS. You can see the red flashing out on the back of Fraser. He's going to go for it down in towards turn number 1, turn number 2, but breaking at the 100-meter board. Contact between the pair of them. I think that Fraser didn't know that Ruddy was there, and I think maybe just had a bit of rear locking, and that meant that he can get the move back done. Oshin as well went for the move on Jays, went a bit too deep through there, and that meant that James went for a switch back from turn number 2 and gets himself back up into P8. Very nicely done, as there's a lot of battling going on behind, and that is the key to having a spin out of turn number 2. Rara moved up 2 positions in that.
Yeah, Fraser just had a real locking moment there. His car turned under braking into Roddy, lucky not to cause a spin there somehow. I think Roddy saved Fraser from a spin inadvertently there. But now there's a gap formed now, almost 2 seconds, where he needs to make up to get into the DRS of his teammate and be in the podium battle. As Fraser, he's probably just going to let Roddy drag him back into the battle before thinking of any moves. But Giovanni looks aggressive as Caillou has a real lock there. That could be an invitation for Giovanni. He's burned the ERS now. Giovanni's looking to reclaim that P2 right now, and I think Caillou's going to let it happen. He closes the ERS quickly as Giovanni moves up to his starting position, back up to P2, and Caillou is down to P3. Griglick is right behind it. Griglick, he wants the podium also. He's probably also knowing Caillou's got to think of the championship. He's got Caillou has a great opportunity to extend his lead, so will that be in Griglick's mind as he has a moment there through Villeneuve as Griglick's going to try around the outside Toza. Toza a difficult place to get a move, and he can't get it done there. It doesn't have the traction on Caillou to get into that podium position. But those moments are slowly creeping Caillou on the verges of the DRS, which if he loses DRS, it'll be an easy move, you think, for Griglick, especially with 70% ERS compared to 25. But he's teetering with it, he's flirting with disaster, Caillou, right now. It's going to be when you're halfway down this run, as Caillou might have got a warning for that, as that's probably going to be the difference between him having DRS as Griglick. Could he try into the reverses potentially? No, Rings better off. IJs gets a penalty there. But right now we're focused on the podium. Championship leader versus the newish guy. Grillick opens ERS, opens DRS, and this should be an easy move for P3 for the Mercedes driver. There we go. Caillou doesn't fight it at all. Grillick up to P3.
It's done from Griglick, and again, playing it nice and patiently was very well worked from him. But yeah, you can definitely see now the difference between the hards and the mediums. Giovanni has caught up 4/10 of a second on Maliapis, and you can see Maliapis there just going through the toes of hairpins. So yeah, Giovanni, he's starting to gain onto the back of the AlphaTauri, and realistically, you now got to think for the medium runners that they may have to make a pit stop very, very soon, maybe within the next 2 laps. To avoid any sort of undercut from even the hard runners, because the mediums they can be quite handy around here. So the mediums probably could go maybe about 15 odd laps even on the second stint, and they would still be okay. So yeah, I think the guys that are on the mediums, they've got to think about pitting very soon, making sure that they can get a big enough gap, or at least a decent gap up ahead of the hard runners that are going to go on to the set of mediums. As that's a safety car. Who has caused that? Is that Astros?
I think it's Lakita, because he's going really... Yeah, Lakita spun. I just noticed right when it came out, Lakita was stopped. He's lost his front wing. So this is actually good for the medium runners, because they get to go on the hard. As the hard runners, they're going to have to bring their mediums 20 laps. That's going to be a task. It's going to be double stacking at Mercedes. Oh, it just goes perfectly for Ruddy. He's only going to lose about half a second with that, so he shouldn't lose any positions here. So it's worked out well for the Mercedes boys. I think Ruddy... Yeah, Ruddy... maintains P5 as Fraser has lost out to Hazara, and Fraser might go up and front wing damage potentially when he had a half spin into Ruddy, so he had to change that front wing, so that promotes Hazara as everyone is in. No one's decided to stay out. So there's a task now for those now on the mediums. They have to go not exactly 20, 18 laps on the mediums, and we're seeing they were dying off at lap 12. So you're going to see Giovanni Greatlick looking to get ahead of Maliapis off the go, but they'll have to maintain it. They'll be struggling towards the end, so it's going to be interesting. You're expecting Giovanni Greatlick to move up to 1-2 early on, but can they maintain it?
One that we will have to wait and see. Only one person didn't pit, and that is Mr. Smalleyballs down in 18th position. And I feel like that may have been a massive mistake, because he's been 12 laps on those medium tyres, so I don't understand why he hasn't made a pit stop. But yeah, very interesting strategy to say the least. But yeah, Maliapis now gets his hard tyres. He should pit, probably pit at the end of this lap, but we'll see. Maliapis though, yeah, manages to go on a set of the hard, and same with Caillou. They get their free stop, as you say. The medium runners also manage to get out the hard runners, sorry, get to pit onto the set of the mediums, but towards the end, I'd probably say about 5 laps from the end, those medium tyres are going to be absolutely dead, and meaning that the hard runners then get their shot of being able to catch up to the rest of those guys out in front. On those mediums, you've got to expect though, on this restart, maybe after a lap or 2, Giovanni would probably be leading the way when that safety car does come back in. So long as there's not another safety car that comes out, you would think Giovanni and maybe even Griglick get past Maliapis. And yeah, unfortunately for the AlphaTauri driver, because he had a decent lead, about 1.8 seconds, and I would assume he would have probably pitted, if not on that lap, but maybe the next lap, to try and cover off those guys that started on this set of the hard compounded tyres. So yeah, we'll see what he said will do.
While we're behind safety car, I am just going to quickly run to the bathroom, and hopefully I'm back on the restart.
No problem at all. So, championship leader Mr. Caillou sitting in P4 for the time being. We'll see if he can maybe hold on to ahead of the guys that are on a set of the medium. 5 medium runners behind him. All of Roddy, Hazara, Fraser, Jays and Cascara. So we'll see if he can hold on to those guys. Rara in 10th with the hards as well. Again, someone that you do also need to keep our eye out for. Started it in P6. Unfortunate with what happened at the start with him disconnecting from the session. And, as I say, ended up dropping down to P18, I think it was at one point. But now to P10. He's a very good. He's had a very good stint since he's joined back into the session. So, see if he's able to maybe replicate that in the second phase of it. But again, with the medium runners in front of him and a lot of them behind him, it's going to be difficult. So, again, only time will tell. Safety car should be in at the end of this lap. We have done one lap on it, so long as Smalley Balls catches up, which it does look like he should be. So yeah, safety car should be in at the end of this lap, and we can get this one back underway. Malia P is going to be able to hold on ahead of Giovanno and Griglic, or is Giovanno and Griglic going to be able to spot when he does end up going? As yeah, you have done that perfectly. As safety car will be in at the end of this lap.
Perfect. So 5 guys on penalties. I think Dutch Whistle is the only one at 6. The rest are on 3, if I'm correct. Which I am. So yeah, restart time now. Where does Maliapis go? It's kind of difficult because you can't. There's only really one spot you can go, and that's off the second revash. Which means there's a decent bit of a slipstream effect on this pit straight. So he's gonna have to really park the car in the middle of the track and not give Giovanni space to work with. But he's gone now. I think he's caught Giovanni slightly there, as Giovanni's going to have to look in his mirrors now, as Griglic's actually looking at his Kai's looking to reclaim that podium position in this restart, but he just doesn't have the tyres to do it. But is he going to throw a dive bomb potentially? No, things better off it. But it's looking all clean through turn 1. Rara's up to PA, he's made a good restart there. Colscara, not going to be able to win. Colscara gets a penalty there, but it looks all clean on this restart. A couple moves towards the back. Kai, 3 seconds! Oh dear, that... Oh no, that could drop him to be just ahead of Rara. So in the chance where he has to significantly extend his lead, he's probably only good at the moment. He's only going to be ahead of his championship rival by a point when all is said and done. So he needs to bridge a gap, and Rara's on the same strategy as him.
Yeah, he certainly does need to bridge the gap, but yeah, all had actually a really clean restart. And yeah, I think Kailu is just hoping that everybody else behind him picks up 3-second penalties. I mean, yeah, Ruddy, Carl Scarra all picking up 3 seconds just means that Kailu then has another buffer with those guys behind them. If they get in front of him though, then it's going to be a bit of trouble. But now 1 lap down, are we going to see Giovanna go for the move on Malia Pease? He's using the ERS, and without any DRS until the next lap. Around the outside he goes to turn number 1, gets that move done. Is Griglic going to try and follow though? I think he is going to try and follow. Had to back out of that one though. I don't know if Malia Pease moved in front of him or what, but yeah, Griglic not able to get the move done on Malia Pease, and Ruddy either. Both of the Mercedes not able to capitalise on the guys on the hard in front of them and having to stay behind them for the time being. In fact, I thought Kailu might even be eyeing up a move on Griglic just then.
Yeah, Caillou was looking at his mirrors for a bit on Roddy. I think Griglic he tried to go around the outside, and I think Giovanni was on the outside as well, so there's no chance of him making the move there. So he made the sensible decision and backed out, but decided to go for another lap rather than go into the wall essentially. Because going wheel to wheel on that corner is difficult enough with 2 drivers. Managed doing that with 3 drivers.
Yes, it's very difficult. It's Malia Pease. So that's another 3-second time penalty for another driver. Malia Pease trying to do his best to keep up with Giovanni. Of course, DRS is not going to be enabled on this lap. DRS will be enabled when they cross the line. However, there isn't going to be any DRS until they get to this time next lap anyway. So Giovanni is going to try and run away from Malia Pease as much as possible. However, Griglic is now going to try and go down the, go around the outside of turn 1 to have the, to take that position into turn 2. Griglic now up into 2nd position, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all with penalties now. And it is a scrap between these guys for that final podium position. Hazara, though, also within a shout of a podium, and same with Fraser. Both of those guys behind without any penalties. So the fight is going on for this final podium spot between all 5 of these guys. It's just who's going to be the one that emerges on top, and if any of them are going to be able to hold on with no penalties with these guys.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now. Giovanni's not bridging the gap. He was looking to bridge the gap on Maliapis, but Grilic's on the same strategy as him, so Grilic's going to stay with him. And what looks of things, Maliapis is just going to stay with the DRS of Grilic, so the Red Bull and the Mercedes kind of need to work together to bridge a gap on Maliapis to not let him come back. Of course, that 3 seconds is going to be big later on, but of course they could easily get 3-second penalties also. They need to try and do what they can to win this on track at this stage, because with the amount game penalties, it's not going to be too much of a surprise if Grilic and Giovanni also pick up 3 seconds, so they need to be careful. But Roddy looking to get ahead of Caillou, but he's using a load of his ERS. Caillou's not even burning right now, so Roddy needs to get this move done now realistically. But Grilic and Grilic's not taking the advice, and he wants to take the lead. Maliapi's look to get up to P2 ahead of Giovanni, but Grilic leads now, and it's 6 cars nose to tail, almost a repeat of last week, as Astros had a spin off Tamburello by looks of things. We're climbing up the hill now, it's almost a repeat of last week with so many cars nose to tail looking for the win.
Certainly are. It's the top 11 all battling it out with each other, and then you've got the massive gap with Dutch Missile leading that gap as well. I think that was True Drive that was originally leading there. He goes very wide at the exit of Piratella and now allows Coolman to go around the outside of Piratella. And now Jay's trying to go down the inside of Aquaminarale on the Alpine as well of Maxo. Penalty for, I think that was Roddy Damien. A lot of penalties that just got picked up by a lot of people. Damien picked up a penalty.
Roddy's on 6 seconds now. That's going to hurt him a lot. That takes him out of the contention for the win by more than likely. So that's another win opportunity for Roddy taken away already. He's now going to have to try and make sure he gets points here at this stage with 6 seconds at how close the grid is. It's going to be dropping down significantly as Carl Scarrett and Damien now lower end of the points. I think Max Power is going to be retired here as beautiful move by Damien, almost gone down with Carl Scarrett, but he threaded the needle perfectly, moves himself up to P9 for now, but he'll need to bridge a gap at the moment due to his penalty. She's one of the few drivers looking clean at the moment penalty wise, and that will bump him up a load of places if he can keep behind these drivers with penalties, but the top 11 within DRS of each other.
Yeah, if it kind of does stay the way that it is at the moment, I mean, Oshin will then actually jump himself up ahead. Well, the only person he won't jump in these penalties would be ahead of Maliapis. He'll jump the rest of the guys in front of him with the penalties. So, yeah, if Oshin can keep it clean, I think it will be a very good result for him. And yeah, P5, I think that'd be an excellent result. I think he'd be expecting with that.
It'd be a 4-5 for Haas, actually. Fraser.
Yeah.
He's not got a penalty also.
Yeah, it'd be a very fantastic result.
Still 12 laps. Still 12 laps, so you can only assume that there's going to be more people getting penalties. It's going to be keeping Coscardi. I think that's 6 for him now. Loads of people picking up like loads of penalties recently from this restart. There's definitely been something going on from this restart, because I think some people have picked up 3 and then 6 from this restart. Interesting to see what's happening here. But the front, Giovanni Gritlick still leading the way. They're not pulling away though is the thing, and we're coming close to that crossover point. It was about lap 12 when the medium started to struggle harder. It will be pushed slightly due to the lower fuel they're running, but it's still going to come. They're still going to have significant laps on the disadvantaged tire, so it's going to be interesting how it comes. And of course, 3 seconds that could easily be bridged. We saw Maliapis, he was pulling away when he was on the favorable tire early on, so can he repeat that feat? Plus he has 2 cars to need to overtake right now. Giovanni Gridley could be fighting for the win as Giovanni took a lot of that curve there. For a second his car was going to go the other way. Oh, come on. No, he still gets points, but Rara, he's looking at Fraser right now. Rara, I think it's Rara on 6 actually. No, he's on 3. Coscarrett's on 8 seconds. So he must have spent the pit lane then, or did a complete corner. And moved for the lead. Giovanni's moved up into the lead again. So there's no working between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. Why would there ever be working between the Red Bulls and Mercedes? They're fine on track. They're letting the guys on the hards stay in this battle, and we'll see if that's the right decision come the checker flag. We're 10 laps away come the end of this lap. Roddy has a moment there of Villeneuve. Took a long curve there, and if someone has a spin here in this back, you can see a few cars going away. As Grillick's going to look for it, he was thinking of it through Paratella. Jace has gone through Villeneuve, but I think he hasn't made contact with the wall. I think it's just a spin, so no safety car there.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. Very close with what's going on as well. Kainu, I think, even might be eyeing up a move on Maliapis in towards Variantiata, but has to back out of that one. So the McLaren, as you see, Maliapis going a little bit wide out of the exit of it as well. Astro is picking up another 3-second time penalty. I'm just having a look. It's 8 drivers, if I'm not mistaken, that are yet to pick up any sort of penalty, and that, I think that's going to boost Hazara and Fraser massively. Unless one of those two pick up a penalty, then I feel like I think our podium could already be set with those guys, as Dutch Missile now picks up a 3-second time penalty. DRS is now open for a lot of these guys. Kailu's going to try and go around the outside. Griglik's also got the move done on Giovanno. Is Kailu going to be able to get the move done on Maliapis? They both leave each other the room ever so slightly, and that means that Ruddy was trying to go around the outside of turn number 2, gets forced off with that one. Now allows Hazara to go down the inside of it as well and gets that move done. Astro's into the pits to retire from the session, but yeah, with all that battling going on, Kailu trying to go for that move on Maliapis has actually, if anything, hurt Ruddy massively, as Fraser and Vara now side by side with each other. Vara, I think, giving a bit of a forcing Fraser out at the exit of the Tozer chicane. Both Tozer hairpins, sorry, both can't make contact to each other on the straight, and means that Rara had the inside in towards Piratella, and it meant that he can go and get that move done on the Haas driver. So Fraser now down to 8th, still in a net fourth position at the moment with the penalties out in front of him. But yeah, I think he wants to be a bit closer to Hazara to have an opportunity of a podium for this evening.
Yeah, that could have been a massive crash there. Fraser and Rara had their tyres interlocked. If Rara got a good run off Toza, they were both going the wall there. Somehow they didn't take each other out there. There might be a few words exchanged afterwards between Rara and Fraser. That was very sketchy, as Fraser's going to try and make the move again. Rara's derating. Fraser, Kai's got to move on Maliapis, but oh jeez, another penalty. Jesus, right, jeez, that's a lot. As Kai can't get past Maliapis. Of course, this is fourth position right now because they're both on 3 seconds. I thought he's going to try and reveal that. That would have been an attempt and a half, but let's get a good run off Villeneuve. Oshin, that's another 3 seconds. That's going to cost him points. Yellow flag. I think that's True Driver having a moment through the first turn, and IJs has had a moment also through the ravages. But yeah, we're coming to the closing ends now, and this is when the gloves come off now. This is going to be who wants him more, who's going to win it. It's looking like it's going to be between Grilic and Giovanni at the moment, but we're yet to see that crossover point. But the 3 seconds that will need to be gained by Maliapis and Caillou, no one on the hards in this leading pack is penalty free, so that is possibly going to be the difference today. But there's still a lot to go. 8 laps once we get across the line again, and Grilic has the lead. There's similar ERS situation between Grilic and Giovanni, both on the high 40s. But Giovanni with a slight burn, he's burning more. Giovanni, he's turning on and on. I don't know why he's committed now. He has to commit now. He's burned too much ERS to knock over the lead there, and he's going to go for the lead. And Grilic's just going to let it happen. Maliapis having half look at Grilic right now, at the point where the crossover may be happening. They're going to be even enough at this stage anyway. But right now, going to see as Oshin and Carl Scarif through Villeneuve down the inside for Oshin, but that he's penalties. He'll still score because Carl Scarif's on 8. But it's going to hurt his chances of getting more. As IJ's again, another penalty. That's a lot. How many penalties IJ's on? 17.
Looks like it's the fastest lap of the race, though. I think that's probably what he was trying to do, just trying to go for as fast of a lap as possible. As Damien,
another 3 seconds.
Yeah, certainly does pick up another 3 second time penalty, but the top two still keeping it nice and clean so far throughout. But is it going to be Griglic or is it going to be Giovanni that picks up the win this evening? Oshin now another 3 second time penalty. I think that's an instant one this time for corner cutting. So we'll see if he's able to maybe get that removed or changed into a warning after the race or when the stewards come out. But yeah, at the moment it is Giovanni, Griglic, and then Hazara with no penalty to his name. He needs to try and keep this as clean as possible. Don't know how many warnings he's on. Don't know if we want him to check or not. As there you go, Griglic, with the amount of overspeed he's got, go for the move on Giovanni. Maliapis is also going to try and follow down the inside as well, and he certainly does that. Very nicely done from Maliapis. And now Kailu's, yeah, see if he can go for the move on Giovanni as well, but no, backs out of that one. Giovanni tries to go for the move very close in towards the Villeneuve chicane, but backs out of that that one. Manny P's now up into second position, and that is the gap that he would have needed ahead of Kailu, because Kailu wants to try and, well, he wants to try and finish as high as possible. At the moment, as you say though, he's only going to finish ahead of Rara. Like, after all of that had happened, yeah, only finishing ahead of Rara is probably going to be a bit of a disappointment for Kailu. If he didn't pick up that penalty, P2 was certainly, or P3, sorry, was certainly on the cards for him. But yeah, now Manny P's has lost that 1 second to Griggly. Griggly has been allowed to just run away from the guys behind him. And now I think this is anyone but Griglix at this point.
Yeah, Maliapis is burning whatever he has left on his ERS to try and get into the DRS, but it's looking like it's coming to no avail, as it won't be. So with a D-rating car, Giovanno's going to have a prime opportunity to retake this P2. Maliapis light is flashing. It's an invitation for Giovanno to go down the inside and retake this P2. Roddy get ahead of Hazara, and Hazara thinks smart of it. He doesn't have a penalty, so he lets it happen. He knows he's still up for a podium right now, so he's smart about this. Lets Roddy by. But he's got a really good run off Tamburello, but can't do a thing about it. True driver, gone on the pits, never mind. That would have been exciting if there was a late safety car.
Yeah, so no late safety car, but they're all still running in unison at the moment. Oshin losing out the DRS to Carl Scarrett now, so the top 10 all running in this DRS train. Oshin, unfortunately, must have made some sort of mistake and is now dropped out of that 1 second mark. But still P11 at the time being, may end up dropping down behind Dutch Missile and even Coolman as well, with the amount of penalties that he has got. I think he actually will drop behind Coolman if I'm not mistaken. He has got 9 seconds of penalties. Dutch Missile's got 12, so he won't drop behind Dutch Missile, only Coolman, which means he'll go down to 12. He'll even drop back behind Smalley Balls as well. So yeah, Oshin, I don't think is on for any sort of points for this evening. Coolman though might actually be able to get himself a decent haul of points. Is now Giovanni back in the DRS of Griggly, but has had to burn a significant amount of his DRS, which he probably wouldn't have preferred to not do, as yeah, he went deep. Sorry,
he locked up going into the first ravage. He almost went into the gravel, so that explains why he had to burn the ERS. I was on board while he was mid-lock up. Very lucky not to clip the gravel there. That would have, with all the guys behind, that would have led him to being suffocated down the straight, but just misses it as he's looking for the win. Gridlick, I think, had a bad run off Villeneuve. It's looking like it's a 2-horse race at the moment due to the penalties. Giovanni Gridlick, and it's looking like a race for the podium, but Hazara, despite being 6, looks like he's going to get that podium position right now, but 4 laps left to go. It's anything can happen. It always happens here. But championship-wise, Kai will still extend his championship lead, but only be by 2 points at the moment. So after the first lap, it was looking like he was going to bring himself to a win. He's going to have a win in his pocket, but it's looking like it's a minimal gain, which I think Kai will be disappointed with all that's happened today, but he's still looking good as we come to the closest stage of the championship. But our focus right now on who is going to win this race. It's looking like it's going to be a first-time winner anyway. But Maliapis out of nowhere is going ahead of Giovanni. I missed that completely. I was on board with Giovanni. Maliapis just went goodbye. I'm on the bare tires now. I want to try and win this race. He'll need to gain a second lap though to do that, so that is a task and a half. As Giovanni almost loses it off Villeneuve there. Caillou, is he going to try into Toza potentially? Thinks better of it. But yo, that Giovanni had a major moment there, caught the curb off Villeneuve and had to save the car, and Caillou just couldn't get the positioning of his car to get ahead. Of course, it wouldn't be per position, but still really satisfying to pitch at the podium. Right now, 3 laps to go. A second lap is going to be needed by Maliapis to win this race. I don't see this happening. I can see him taking the lead, but I don't see him pulling 3 seconds. It'll be an astounding accomplishment if he can do that, but there's only one way to find out. We'll find out in a few laps time, as I think right now we're going to see a change for the lead on track.
Yeah, it certainly does look like we're going to see a change for the lead. It looks like Malia Peace is... In fact, actually, he's not using any of that ERS. Kailu is going to go for the move on Giovanno. So Kailu now up into third position. Malia Peace does go for the move on Griglick, and now those hard tyres are coming into fruition. And now Malia Peace back up into the lead of this race. Kailu is now back up to third and all over the back of Griglick. Kailu wants to try and get ahead of these two, or get ahead of Griglick so he can go for the move on Malia Peace. But Kailu making a bit of a mistake going through the chicane, just taking a bit too much of the inside curb. So now it's going to be, for Giovanni, we may have been eyeing up a move on the back of the McLaren, but I think it's just not the best place to go for any sort of move. But at the moment, yeah, Hazara and Fraser both still keeping it nice and clean for the time being. The key to another 3-second time penalty, and you can just see as well, Rara is just pushing Fraser through every single corner. I've been seeing it for the past couple of laps. Rara is just wanting to try and do something against Fraser, but with that penalty for Rara's name, it's just it means he's not going to be able to really do anything. Even though if he gets past them position wise, it doesn't really matter. So he's going to try and let those two out in front, battle it out, maybe see if they can make any sort of mistake between a pair of them. As Dutch Missile, another 3-second time penalty onto the penultimate lap now, and Malia Peace has actually pulled a decent gap up ahead of Griglick. Might invite Kailu to go for a move.
But the thing is, Griglick has that DRS, and you've seen like he was 8 tenths behind the start of the straight, and he's going to be off the gearbox of Malia Peace. So looking like it will be Griglick's win as things stand, unless something happens to him. Giovanni, of course, there's a car between them right now. Griglick and Giovanni, the two who look like they're going to win it now. So it's looking ever more difficult for Giovanni to get the win. It's looking like it's going to be a first win for Griglick. Actually, no, I think second win. Did he win a Silverstone, Griglick? Actually, I think I just remember that he actually won in Silverstone, if I'm not mistaken. I'm actually going to double check that.
I believe he did. Now that you say that, I think he did win at Silverstone.
I think, I think Damien, that's going to drop out the points, I think.
Yeah, no, it certainly will. So Damien probably going to be losing out on points as the Carl Scarrett actually gets a move on Damien as well. Going in towards Variante Alta. Coolman picks up a 3-second time penalty. So the one person I was also keeping an eye out for, he had no penalty up until the penultimate lap. And I thought he was going to get a handful of positions. But now the NLR driver, unfortunately for him, I think is going to be missing out on points for this evening. We're now on to the final lap of this race, and Griglick is burning absolutely everything to go for this move on Malia Peace, and it is as easy as that for the Mercedes. Around the outside of turn 1, DRS wide open and gets that move done. Damien also gets back past Carl Scarrett now for P9, but Griglick now up into the lead of this race. It means that Malia Peace and Kailu can now battle it out between a pair of them. Giovanni now 1 second behind both of the hard runners. It means that Giovanni really is starting to struggle on these tyres and could potentially drag the rest of these guys behind him, as that's a spinner. That is the Dutch Missile, in fact, actually going around. Yeah, so they must have had a bit of contact between a pair of them, but still, with what's going on towards the front end of the field, Malia Peace is just glued to the back of Griglick as they make their way up towards Aqua Minerale. Another 3-second time penalty for Rara, so that's 6 seconds for Rara. Means he's going to drop.
He'll keep 8.
Okay, fair enough. Hazara, he's made a mistake out of Aqua Minerale. Fraser's now onto the podium. After all of that, Fraser has now made his way onto the podium spot. He makes a bit of a mistake as well, coming out the exit of Variante Alta. Rara's going to try and hold it down the inside in towards the final 2 corners. Malia Peace trying to go down the inside of Griglick for a position on the track, but doesn't get the move done. Griglick comes around the final corner to take a win around Imola for this evening. Malia Peace and Kailu take second and third on track, but it's going to be Giovanni and it's going to be Fraser taking the final podium spot. Hazara fourth. Malia Peace and Kailu ended up finishing 5th and 6th in the end, respectively, so no, wasn't necessarily badly damage done to the pair of them. Ruddy does finish 7th, Rara in 8th after that disconnection from the start of this race. Carl Scarrett in 9th. Damien does still manage to finish in her points by a margin of only 1/10 of a second. Smalley Balls does finish in 11th, Maxro in 12th, Oshin in 13th. Coolman with that 3-second penalty ended up finishing in 14th in the end. Dutch Missile in 15th after that collision on the final lap with Coolman, and then Lakitu will take the final position for this evening. And yeah, what a race that was. It's just a race of attrition realistically, but wow, that was very, very close.
And to correct what I originally said, Gridlick did not win in silver, so he was P2. So this is his first win for Gridlick. And third and fifth were separated by a tenth and a half. So Fraser just gained that podium there in the end. So I think in a hurley, Rara fighting with Fraser almost gave Caillou more points in the championship, but Caillou was still gaining the championship, I believe. I don't think anyone, I think Hazara was the only one who was still technically in contention that was gained points there. Yeah, Hazara was on 37, so he'll gain a bit. Oh, actually, he was on 36, so. But I think Caillou still extends his championship lead, but I wonder if Hazara's moved up to P2 in the championship, actually, after that. Hazara finished P4. Is that, am I right saying P4 for Hazara, or is it someone else?
No, that would be P4 for Hazara. So I'll read you just the rest of the standings as well. So Griglick taking his first win in season number 34 of PSGL. Giovanno finishes in second. Fraser in third. Hazara in fourth. Malia Pease in fifth. I think that might be his highest result of the season so far as well, if I'm not mistaken.
He's got a turn, I think.
Fair enough. Caillou in 6th with Ruddy in 7th. Carl Scarrett in 8th. Damien in 9th. Smalley Balls in 10th. In fact, actually, that's a bit wrong because Rara actually finished in 8th, but left the session. So Rara finished in 8th. Sorry, Carl Scarrett in 9th, and Damien was in 10th in the end. Macro in 11th. Oshin in 12th. Coolman in 13th. Smalley Balls was in 11th. Maxwell in 12th. Oshin in 13th. Coolman in 14th. Dutch Missile 15th. Lakitu in 16th. And then our non-finishers of True Drive, Jays, Astros, and Max Power as well. And yeah, it was filled with disconnections and it was filled with penalties. But in the end, it was a Mercedes that came out on top, and it was a Mercedes versus Red Bull battle, always a title for the ages. And it turns out it was the Mercedes that came out on top after all of that. But I mean, any sort of final remarks for the race that's happened for this evening at all, Oshin? That was a very jam-packed race.
Well, to tell you championship-wise, because that's what we all care about, Caillou, it will be on 55 points. Then it will be a draw for P2 between Hazara and Rara. Rara will have the count back due to the win. Actually, Hazara also has a win, so I don't know what separates it then, but they are tied on 46, so 9 points separating the top three as things stand. Coleman looks to be slowly drifting out of the championship fight, as well as Damien. Gian, he's slowly drifting out also due to his, his holidays, but we have 4 rounds to go. So still a lot can happen, but Caillou, he's got 9 points of a buffer right now. Of course, that's not what it was looking like when this race finished the first lap. It was looking like Caillou was going to potentially have 19 points of a lead early on. So it's going to be one that Caillou is going to be a bit disappointed with. Of course, no major fault to his own. Of course, the penalty, probably the only thing you could fall on, but a strong recovery drive for Rara. And when all is said and done, that could be the thing that Rara can say won in the championship.
Certainly could be. It certainly could be. So thank you to everybody that has tuned in for this evening. Make sure you guys are checking us out every single week for the PlayStation tiers at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock for the PlayStation tiers. For PCF1, make sure you're checking it out at 7 p.m. on the Wednesday. And then for the other PC tiers from F2, I think down to like F9 or something like that. Again, 7 and 8 p.m. on a Thursday. Once again, also thank you very much to the sponsor for this evening of GT Omega. Make sure you guys are also checking them out in the description below and using code PSGL at the checkout as well. Might get yourself a nice little discount. So yeah, maybe want to take advantage of that whilst you still can. But thank you to everybody that has tuned in for this evening, and we'll catch you guys next week for round number 8. Sorry, around the Spa de Francorchamps.
He's got the inside off, here he's through, on the left hand side, hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Yana up there now to the last couple of quarters now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the ghost is back. Yana up there wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.
Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my pole, she got me locked in on cup though.